We have Karen Shepherd today, and she is here to have a chat about her life and what she's gone through and things like that. So, welcome, Karen.
Hello. Thank you very much for having me, Toby.
No problem. It's an absolute pleasure. I remember you from your smile the first time I met you, and every time I've seen you since. So it's always nice to have someone with such a lovely smile that can brighten up a room and be such a positive force.
Thank you.
We're going to go through sort of your life, really, because the whole point of these videos is to get people more familiar with group members. Because when we're at these meetings and events and stuff like that, it's very difficult to kind of get into depth with anyone in particular, let alone sort of to that level of detail, unless you really know someone properly. So you've had quite an interesting life, haven't you?
I think so. Yeah.
It's been very from what you've told me. It's very consistent, but very sort of fun. And one thing I've seen looking through your Facebook is every other photo is a photo of food.
Oh,
So food obviously plays a big role in your life. Tell us more about that. Did you start loving food at a young age, or was that something that came later in life?
well, it's funny really because I wasn't really, I liked food. Yes, I did. But I wasn't really into cooking as such. I did food and nutrition at school, but it was, well, everything always went wrong. It was nothing. It was always something funny happening in the class. And yeah, my friend and I, we had such great fun with it, but we didn't take it seriously. And um, and then I've never really been a great cook as such. But I had my eureka moment back in 2008 when I went to a raw food demonstration. And at that time, I had no idea what real food was all about. I never even tried it. And I went to this demonstration. It was in Shirley, Southampton. And there were two ladies there, and they had a few appliances. And they just made the most delicious concoction of dishes. And I was like blown away. It was so easy to make, it was nutritious, and it was, yeah, just lovely. So that's what really started me on my journey with food. And so I bought a juicer, a food processor, a blender, and started on the raw food journey. And then I met a lady at Sunnyfields in Southampton. She had a raw chocolate store, and she said that she was holding raw potlucks. So I thought, oh, that sounds really interesting. So I went along there. On the first day was the 17th of January, 2010. So I remember it. And
You got a very good memory, haven't you?
for certain things.
That's amazing.
And I just realized this is what I want to be doing for the next, well, every fortnight, because she had it every fortnight. I just loved it. I loved the people that were there. We had such fun. And then 2 years later, she had to move, so she couldn't host anymore. And so I just took it over, just took over the organizing. And that's what we do now. Every once a month, we get together with friends, enjoy raw food. And it's not in anyone's house in particular. It depends who can host. So could be in Southampton, could be in Bournemouth, Southbourne, Glastonbury, anywhere, Totton. So, and the group is growing and everyone's very welcome to join. So if anyone fancies having lovely raw food and a great time with like-minded people, then yeah, do come
That's
along.
great. Raw food is literally as it sounds, is it? So you don't have meat because it's vegan or gluten. And I remember seeing you at Jackie White's event the other day, and you had a pot or something that looked quite tasty. Actually, it was like seeds, like I don't know what it was. It was like kind of seeds with they've been the roots come out. It looked really tasty and like
Oh,
crunchy.
sprouts, yeah.
Yeah, was that what it was? Right. It's really
Yes.
looked really tasty, and there was other stuff in there. I just wanted to nick it and eat it myself,
Yeah, it's
So,
just such healthy food.
mm,
It's yeah, plant-based food
yep,
that's non-processed, gluten-free,
yep.
vegan, and not heated above about 42 degrees.
Right.
If you're going to cook it, you can make raw soups and just heat them gently. So I do that in my Thermomix to
Where
37.
where do you get your raw foods from? Do you buy them from markets and things like that?
Yeah, I tend to buy them from Sunnyfields
Hmm.
mainly. Also, I get a Riverford box once a week. So it's mainly just greens, really, or greens or vegetables and fruits, and yeah.
I love the name potluck. Did you come up with that? Because it's really cool. It's kind of, it literally is potluck, you know.
It is. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
generic name, really. I think people do have potlucks. I think maybe it's an American term where you all bring a dish and
Mhm.
no one necessarily knows what anyone else is going to bring, which is quite the exciting part of it. But it all goes so well together. So, yeah, anyone's welcome to bring anything they like.
Can we have one at our house?
Oh, yes, please do.
Love to, because
Love
you're
that.
also involved with the wonderful machine, the Thermomix.
Yes, that one,
Um,
yes.
and I mean, I winced at having to pay over £1,000 for a kitchen appliance when my wife mentioned it, but she did take 4 years deciding to buy one or not, and it's the best decision she's ever made. And you actually sell these, you sell them, don't you? You're a dealer.
I do, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I've been doing that for about 8 years now. Yes, and it was a friend of mine because once I started the raw food journey,
Hmm.
I found that I kept burning out blenders and I wanted to get a really good one. So I was looking around and I was thinking about a Vitamix actually, but a friend of mine said, well, have a look what I've bought. And he liked it so much that he'd become an advisor. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll have a look. And he said it's more than just a blender, it will do so many more things.
Yeah.
So he gave us a demonstration to myself and a few friends. And yeah, we were just, yeah, blown away by what it can do. And then 4 years after that, I became an advisor myself.
I mean, it's, from my, I've never really even used it actually.
Oh, really?
I've watched my wife using it. You could, I mean, it weighs things, it chops stuff up, it boils stuff, it cooks things, and it's like got a screen on it which tells you how to cook. I mean, what more do you want anyway?
Really?
I'm
Yeah.
not, I'm not being paid for this, by the way. I just think it's an amazing piece of kit. So you do love food, and you like going to events and partying because I remember the summer party that Bob did, and well, and other people like Juliet, and I remember you vividly because I was doing photos. It's the first event I'd been to from that sort of fraternity, and you were just dancing all day, like and all night, and I just remember you smiling and just being so free and happy, you know. And for me, that was actually really important. I remember that quite vividly because you know, we'd all been stuck in our houses for years with all of the energy and all the negative. The general public just losing their, yeah, you know. And it's just nice to actually see not only everyone else but being fun, you know, just loving each other's company. So everyone really knew each other by then anyway. But also yourself, just like dancing, and a few other people, of course. So that was great.
Oh, thank
You've
you.
you sort of went to the Bolton's bench not long before that, I think, was it? Or
Yeah, that's right.
how did you
Yes, it
find that?
was. Well, yes, we because we went to our friend Marika and a friend of hers that was in Southbourne, and a friend of hers told us about Bolton's Bench, and we'd
Yeah,
never heard about that. So we went along, and it was funny because the first day I went, there were so many people I already knew from
yeah.
these raw food circles, and I thought, oh, this is really interesting. So it was lovely. It was like it was already a family already there, and so yeah, we've been there a few times, and then Juliet said there was going to be a meeting, which I think was September 21, I think. And so we went along to the first meeting, and yeah, we just got involved with all sorts of things that are going on there, events and social happenings and other meetings.
And it plays quite a big part in your life because you're at most of the meetings, I think, most of the big meetings I've seen, and other events like Lulu James had a birthday, that kind of thing. You did,
Yes.
and you've been at lots of other things. So, what's your favorite type of meeting or event? Obviously, you do Kundalini yoga, don't you? So,
Yes,
do
I
you get
do that
involved with
as
the
well.
yoga and stuff like that?
Yes, I do. I mean, I do teach on a Monday, so I can't always do the class, but whenever I can, I do go along. So I do enjoy that. But I did go to one a few months ago now. It was a kirtan and cacao, which I really enjoyed that. That was with Nirvana doing the
Mhm.
cacao, and a gentleman called Ravi, he was doing the kirtan. That was a particularly enjoyable one. But yeah, I just love all the events, really.
I really need to start doing yoga again. My flexibility is just next to nothing now.
Oh, well,
Because I used to do it relatively often, and I remember my core strength really building up on my back. I was like, "Oh, this is good." Because I can lift things, you know. It's like, "Oh, right," because everything's connected, and I've got to get crack on with it. Really, I've just been lazy. So
yeah, well, Michael's actually taken over the class on a Monday. So at 10 o'clock at Brockenhurst Village Hall. So if you're ever around then, he's
that
doing that.
sounds good. I heard Michael done Kundalini training, teacher training, hasn't he?
Yes,
So
he's in
that's
the middle
great.
of it with Allah.
Right,
Yeah,
cool. Oh,
so he's really
brilliant.
enjoying it.
Nice. You've mentioned teaching. You teach French, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah, to
Yeah.
little children. Yeah.
You've been doing that a long time because you did that at college, I think, wasn't it?
Well, I did French at college.
Yeah.
Yes, I love French. That was one of my favorite subjects, doing French and Spanish at college. And I always wanted to use my languages when I left college, and I worked for a freight forwarding agency for 8 years. And then I moved to the company I'm with at the moment, but there wasn't much opportunity for French.
Yeah.
And then about 3 years ago, my friend said that her daughter was doing French, but her teacher was left and they were looking for somebody else. It was a lunchtime club. And she said, "Oh, why didn't you apply?" And I said, "Oh, okay, let's give it a go." And so I started it up again then 3 years ago. So I do it at lunchtimes, and we follow La Jolie Ronde method of teaching, which is a fun method with songs and stories and games.
That does sound good because I always remember French at school, and I still remember. I don't remember any of the sort of actual teaching parts, but I remember all the songs. Um, I won't bother. I won't bother trying to reenact them, but the songs are great. It's like chocolate, banana, chocolate, cafe, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you've been doing that a long time. You said that as in terms of new company, you've been, was it Nicera?
Nice, yeah,
Yeah,
Nicera,
that's an
Nicera
electronics
European Works.
company. And how long have you been there? 'Cause it's been a long time, isn't it?
Well, I've been there 32 years. Yeah,
Wow.
well, I will have been in October. Yeah.
That shows commitment, you know, and it's nice to actually have that, especially if it's a nice, I think it's quite a nice family atmosphere, isn't it?
It is. It's lovely. Yes. We used to have a factory in Southampton, but that's all closed down in 2017. So we just run now as a sales office, and there's literally just two of us in the UK.
Oh, okay.
It's a Japanese company, but we're the UK subsidiary. So yeah, very small.
Oh, cool. But at least, I mean, it's nice that you had that because I've never had a 9 to 5 job, and I'd imagine if you had a nice, you know what you're doing in a job, and you've got nice people to work with, it's great because it's consistent money. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's fun. Enjoy it.
So what's your because you say you like kind of surrendering, and I assume that's kind of living in the now type thing, is it?
Yes.
And just being calm and um what tell me more about that at the moment. I mean, what's sort of led you to be like that from your past? And you're not, there is no future, so I won't go there.
I don't know really what it is, but I think going to more spiritual events and learning about things, reading books. I think it's just a way of being happy, really, trying to live in the moment as much as possible and trying not to resist because a lot of things come up and you might feel like your initial reaction is to resist them, but then take a bit of time to just think and just go with the flow and yeah, just to experience new things, really.
Does that include my photo booth that you worked on Saturday?
Yes.
Because you had a really good time with that. You weren't quite sure what you're going to experience, but you came along and you absolutely loved it, didn't you?
I did. It was great fun. Yeah, really, really fun. Yeah, I had no idea what I was going to do and I was a bit nervous, but yeah, people were lovely as well.
Yeah,
So,
that does help.
yes,
But
yeah.
most of my clients are really nice anyway, and their guests are so. Not generic. Most of the time they are.
Yeah, and it's a
Unless they've
wedding,
had a bit too
so
much to drink. Yeah, and
yeah.
because I only do weddings really, so yeah. In terms of your spiritual stuff, you've recently been to a séance, haven't you? That was a new experience. I've
Yes.
always wanted to do that. What's it like? What happened?
Well, it was very interesting, actually. It was the gentleman called Ladrin Bex, um, and he runs a retreat centre with his parents it's called Parsonage Side Retreat, and that's down in Bridgewater. and they also have a seance room, and they have a physical medium there. And the gentleman, the medium, he was encased in a box, and he was all taped up with cable ties, so he couldn't get out or anything. And it sounds a bit strange. And then you sit in darkness and you like hold hands, and then you hear all this. Well, this is my experience. And well, the first thing that happened actually was my chair went straight back, and I felt something touching my hair. I'm like, oh, what is that? But I mean, there's nobody in the room. I mean, I'm sure there'd be skeptics, but that they check everything thoroughly, and the chap can't come out of the little box he's in and things. But that was very strange. And one lady, she was out of the circle in her chair. She'd just been pushed out. And Michael was there, and he felt somebody touching his hair as well. And then we saw, because they're allowed to bring certain props in, and there was a ball that we saw being raised, and then it just dropped. That was one part. And then there was a hand that came out, and there was asked for volunteers to come up and shake the hand, and they gave them a stone. The hand gave the person a stone, and Michael was one of those people, and he has got that stone. And then at the end, the chap that was the medium, he was actually in another box. He wasn't in the first box, he was in a different box at the end, and you heard all this rumbling. It was quite fascinating. Yeah, really fascinating. That was my first time, and I definitely would go again.
It sounds cool. I mean, it sounds to me like it's a combination of magic and some spirituality of some sort. It's difficult when you're not at an event like that to actually, until you've actually experienced it, to very much easily just dismiss it as rubbish, especially since Victorian age. There's a lot of like fake stuff that was unearthed, you know, especially with regards to spiritualism and seances. And so I think the sort of posh people, or the new middle class, wanted something a bit deeper, because it just got a bit ridiculous, didn't it? So yeah, no, it's. I mean, I remember Matt Bell the other day going to one of his light craft things, sat in the middle of a cricket field in Lyndhurst, and it's just like, oh my god, you know, there's another one. And I didn't expect anything, you know. I was like, kind of, yeah, whatever. And you know, it's nice to have an open mind, as you say, and also to accept new experiences without preconceived, environmentally conditioned thoughts about it, negative or positive or neutral or whatever.
Yeah.
And I often go to these events, especially when I'm doing the photography. I don't even look at what it is. I just turn up, and it makes it more special, I think. Like even like the Knowlton Church stuff, whatever. I don't look at who's doing anything, what's going on, or even like I did Tim Wilde's thing for 2 days, and a lot of it was just all. It's nice because, you know, living in the now is very powerful, and it's fun.
It is, yeah.
Really,
it does
fun.
Open your mind, yeah.
Well, it just opens up life, you know. You need to control certain things and prepare for certain stuff, like my weddings, for example. But generally, it's nice just to get in a car and drive, isn't it? And see where you end up, you know.
Yeah, and I think with this group now, it's opened up a whole new world of events that we wouldn't have even known existed before.
Yeah, good. You mentioned books that you've read with regards to surrendering, being in a now. Which ones would you recommend to viewers?
Oh gosh, I can't remember the names. To be honest, I'm not sure. I wouldn't remember. I know there is a lady called Ildiko Spinfisher. So I'm only halfway through her book, but that's very interesting. It's about quantum physics, so it's a bit heavy going.
One book I've read, Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer. That was really cool. And he literally just decided one day to just start meditating and surrender, a bit like the kind of yes man, and everything he did from then just turned into like amazing journey. And he wrote a book on it. I think it's The Untethered Soul is his first book. That's quite well known. Surrender Experiment was his actual journey. So yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Cool. So you're in terms of what you're doing at the moment, are you planning anything in future with regards to the events side of things with your cooking?
Yes, I'm going to have a stall at the solstice event on the 25th of June. So looking forward to that.
And is
Yeah,
that the one at the retreat?
that's the one.
Right, cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be outside. So that'll be really fun.
So it's been lovely listening to your sort of your life and how you live your life and what you've achieved. And from what I get from you, you're very consistent. I mean, you've had the same job for 32 years. You did the job before that for 8 years, and you've been in your cooking thing since 2008. So it's a really good inspiration, I think, for people to see that you're very consistent and you've got a really nice group of friends. And Michael's lovely, isn't he?
He is,
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it's nice that you two live down the road actually. So it's nice. I'll often bump into him if I go to Tesco or something. Um, so it's really nice that you've had that. Do you have any sort of plans apart from the events that you're doing for the future, or are you just so content with the now that you don't even go there?
Yeah, I don't know about plans. I mean, yeah, just enjoying the now, really. I mean, plans like doing the house and things like that, and going on holidays, and yeah, I've got plans for that. But yeah, not the bigger picture as such, just seeing where things take us, I think, really. That's the main thing.
And that's a good conclusion because that's exactly what I'm trying to do with what I'm doing here. It's just literally things come up. I come up with an idea, or I get given an idea, probably actually, and I run it forward from there. So we've got. I think you're a bit more advanced than me, but we've got a similar sort of outlook on the way we live our lives, and it's to some people it might be seen as a bit haphazard and simple, but if you've got in proper inner guidance, it's not at all. It's kind of everything's meant to be, and if you go with intuition, you end up in some really interesting places doing very
Yes.
interesting things, which is what you seem to do quite often. So
Thank you.
it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you so much, Karen.
Oh,
And
thank you ever so much for inviting me.
I'm really would love to join in your potluck events. And you can always come here at some point because we do need to eat. Well, I do need to eat a bit more healthily, and I think it's nice to actually spend time with people that know how to cook and
Oh,
understand
definitely.
nutrition.
Yes, no, I'd love to. Please do join our group. Yeah, it'd be brilliant.
Thanks very much and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you very much. You too.